New reporting by the New York Times links former Haitian President Jovenel Moïse's assassination to his fight against smugglers of drugs and arms to the island and internationally. In her original statement to authorities, Moïse's wife said that she could hear the assailants searching for something after they gunned the couple down in their bedroom. That something was Moïse's alleged little black book. According to 4 senior Haitian advisors, Moïse was working on a list of politicians and business leaders involved in Haiti's drugs and arms trade, which he planned to submit to American government officials. Moïse instructed his advisors to spare no names, not even those who propelled him to the presidency. This news comes as gang-related violence has spiked in Haiti. To date, there have been more than 460 reported kidnappings. This has led to several humanitarian organizations to recall their staff members and volunteers from the country. Here to give us an update on is the founder and publisher of the Haitian Times, Garry Pierre-Pierre. So, Garry, what do you make of this report in the New York Times that the reason that Moïse was killed was because, he was preparing to turn over names of criminals to the United States?
I think it was a riveting read, Charles. But I'm not sure that's the only reason that he was killed. I think there were other issues too. There were some contracts. There were some franchises that he wanted to take away from the people from the private sector. So there he was branded public enemy number one. He had a lot of enemies, very powerful forces in the country that didn't really care whether he lived or died, and then ultimately they had him assassinated. I also think that Moise himself, I think, was complicit in some of these things. We have sources telling us, well, U.S. law enforcement sources saying, well, there were some issues with him as well. And so, the whole country has become a narco state, and we're seeing it playing out in public finally.
I mean, let's talk about the country a little bit. The Haitian parliament is still relatively bare, with no indications of when there will be a next election. Can Haiti fully recover without a fully functioning government?
No, it cannot, Charles, because without a government, the country cannot enter any treaty, it cannot sign any agreement whatsoever, and it becomes a de facto state because with no leaders being able to negotiate anything whatsoever, you have no parliament. Right now, you don't have a president. All you have is a prime minister, who is a caretaker prime minister whose job is to organize elections. We're not talking about when these elections will be held because we're going from one crisis after another.
So, if this is correct, Moise basically said implicate anybody, including people on his side. Like, as you said, he was making enemies left and right. But, if it is true and he was going to turn things over to the government, it just continues to recenter the role of the U.S. in what is happening in Haiti. The last time we were really talking about what was happening in Haiti was only because there was a problem on the doorstep of the United States. There were Haitian refugees that had shown up. We talked about it. They got as many of those refugees out of this country as possible, and then coverage kind of died. What should be the U.S. role here? Because the U.S. seems to be kind of involved in a way that it cannot really disassociate from Haiti and the current problems.
Well, the U.S. looms large in Haiti, Charles, economically, politically, I would even say socially, with people like me, Haitian diaspora, who are, for a practical purpose, American citizens. And so the problem is with Haiti, it's not getting any of the benefit of these associations. Charles, think about it, right? The DA has a full-fledged operation in Haiti, and all of this is going on, and we don't have a sense of this. I mean, I really seriously thought that the drug issue has taken a back step to everything, but according to the Times article, the drug trade has amped up tremendously in the last years or so, and that came out a revelation to me. And so, what is the DA doing in Haiti? Because we're talking about something that comes to the steps of the United States. Well, these drugs are coming to Miami, to New York, to the United States. And if we can rightly go after the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma for the opioid crisis, we have to think about what role is the DEA playing in Haiti in allowing these drugs to come in willy-nilly, according to the Times article, which was, commendable piece. I read it. I was riveted by it yesterday, reading it.
What do you think is, can you give us a picture of the kind of living conditions in the country now? As I understand it, the country still has not recovered from the effects of the hurricane. And so in addition to the political turmoil, there is just scarring of the land itself. And add on top of that, this kind of gang kind of warfare happening all around, people being kidnapped and drugs and arms being traded around. What is the living conditions like for actual Haitians, just people trying to live their lives and get back to some sense of normalcy?
Charles, it's very difficult. People live in fear. Parents fear sending their kids to school because you don't know what can happen. Gangs, they can be kidnapped. Anything can happen to them. Okay, parents themselves fear going to work for the same reasons. People just scurried in and out, get back into their home offices. That's the reality. This is a place that's on the breaking point, and it's becoming a problem, not just for the average Haitian, but this is a regional problem. Latin America now has to deal with these problems in Haiti. The United States has to deal with the problems in Haiti, and the Haitians have to deal with the problem in Haiti. The problem is right now is total lawlessness. The government does not have control over the country.
Garry Pierre-Pierre, thank you so much for the update. We'll try to keep our eyes on this story, have you back whenever we can.